Welcome back to Be Eloquent. It is evident that understanding the fundamentals of grammar gives us the skills to express ourselves clearly and impressively. Therefore, the series Learn English in 30 Days has been brought for the English learners so that they can improve their English grammar and communication skills. Today in this lesson, we are going to learn past perfect continuous tense. We are going to discuss how to form past perfect continuous tense and forming affirmative, negative and interrogative sentences along with past perfect continuous usage. The past perfect continuous tense is also known as past progressive tense. It shows a continued nature of an action which started at some point in the past, continued for some time in past. Past perfect continuous tense is constructed using subject and had, which is an auxiliary verb, been, which is a past participle and second auxiliary verb, present participle, which is root form and ing, along with time reference. Look at the examples. We had been playing cricket in that field before it started to rain. He had not been reading the novel for 2 hours. Through these examples, it is clear that this tense is used to express an action that started in past but continued for some time in past. Therefore, a time reference is given in the example sentences to show when the action started in the past or for how long the action was continued in the past. They had been playing football in that field before it started to rain. This time reference distinguishes past perfect continuous tense from ordinary past continuous tense, where the time of continuity of action is generally non-specific. Use of for and since. The specific word for and since are used in the sentence to show the time of action. The word for is used if the exact starting time of an action is not known, but only the duration of time for which the action was being continued is known. Example: 20 minutes, 3 days, 2 months, 3 years, a long time, recently, for 5 minutes, for 2 days. The word since is used before the time in the sentence if the exact start in time of action is known. Example: 7 a.m. Wednesday, September 2011, Thursday, April 2009, 8 p.m. and so on. Look at the examples. Ratna had been preparing for her exams since the month of December. They had been playing cricket on that field for 3 hours. The writer had been writing on new subjects since the beginning of his career. Had you not been enjoying the concert for 3 hours? I had not been watching the cricket match on television for 2 hours. To make affirmative sentences, we use this formula. subject plus had plus been and base form of the verb along with ing and object and time reference along with rest of the sentence. Examples of positive sentences are: my friend had been reading this book since Monday. She had been writing an article on women empowerment for 2 days. I had been playing my favorite game with my friends since last week. Mohan had been working in this office since last year. Tara had been listening to melodious songs for 2 hours. To make the negative sentences, we add not after the auxiliary verb. The formula is subject along with had, not, which is hadn't in contracted form, plus been, plus base form and ing, plus object, plus time reference and rest of the sentence. Examples are: Ratna had not been attending online classes for 2 weeks. She had not been playing tennis for 2 hours. Tara had not been practicing to sing the song since morning. We hadn't been enjoying the concert thoroughly for 3 hours. My mother hadn't been cooking any meal since morning. To form interrogative sentences, auxiliary verb had comes in the beginning of the sentence and question mark at the end. Formula is had and subject plus been plus base form of the verb plus ing plus object along with time reference and rest of the sentence followed by a question mark. Example: had he been reading the book since morning? Had she been playing piano for 2 hours? Had she been working all day? Had they been making noise for several minutes when the teacher came? Had we been waiting for Jay for 30 minutes before he called us? WH questions. WH questions require more information in their answers. WH words are what, where, when, why, who, etc. The formula is WH word and auxiliary verb followed by a subject plus being plus present participle, which is first form of the verb, and ing plus rest of the sentence and a question mark. Examples: what had you been doing when your mother arrived? Which assignment had you been trying to write when the power went off? How long had she been waiting for her friend? There are several situations where past perfect continuous tense can be used. We use the past perfect continuous to show that something started in the past and continued for some time in the past. Look at the examples. She wanted to do some rest because she had been doing yoga in the morning. Look at the another example. Mohan had been teaching at the university for more than 2 years before he left for Japan. Using the past perfect continuous before another action in the past is a good way to show cause and effect. Examples: Ratna lost some weight because she had been exercising. Jay passed the exam because he had been working very hard. Past continuous versus past perfect continuous. If you do not include a duration such as for 10 minutes, for 3 days, for 2 months, since Monday, since 2011, and so on, in such cases, many English speakers choose to use past continuous rather than past perfect continuous. Be cautious since this can change the meaning of sentence. Past continuous emphasizes interrupted actions while past perfect continuous highlights duration of time before something in the past. Example: He was tired because he was doing power yoga since morning. This sentence emphasizes that he was tired because he was doing power yoga at that exact moment. Look at the another example. He was tired because he had been doing power yoga since morning. This sentence emphasizes that he was tired because he had been doing power yoga over a period of time. It is possible that he was still doing power yoga at that moment or that he had just finished. Look at the table to understand past perfect continuous better. The first auxiliary verb is had. The second auxiliary verb is been. For negative sentences, we insert not after the first auxiliary verb. For question sentences, we exchange the subject and the first auxiliary verb. Contraction with past perfect continuous. When we use the past perfect continuous in speaking, we often contract the subject and first auxiliary verb. We also sometimes do this in informal writing. Look at the table. I had been changes to I'd been. You had been, you'd been. He had been, he'd been. She had been, she'd been. It had been, it'd been. We had been, we'd been. They had been, they'd been. Examples: In negative sentences, we may contract the first auxiliary verb and not. We hadn't been living there for long. He hadn't been preparing for his exams seriously. Time expressions with past perfect continuous tense. So today we came to know about past perfect continuous tense. That describes that an action that started in the past continued up until another time in the past. This is similar to present perfect continuous, which indicates an action that began in the past and continued up to the present. The past perfect continuous indicates that something that began in the past continued in the past and also ended at a defined point in the past. I hope you understood the rules. You can subscribe this channel to remain updated about next lecture. If you like this video, do not forget to like and share it. Thank you for watching and looking forward to seeing you in the next lesson.